Hey, what's going on, Black people? Today, we have an interesting topic on drboycetv.com, the home for intelligent Black people. It has to do with a rapper by the name of Lil Nas X. He's a brother that apparently loves to twerk in prison while spreading his butt cheeks. And as you all know, this is some stuff that makes you wonder, have rappers gone too far? Have corporations gone too far? And who's paying for these minstrel shows? That's what I really want to know. So we're going to talk about it all. I'm bringing in a panel of intelligent Black people to kind of break this down. Madam President, Jeff Lightsy Jr., and some others. And we're basically going to talk about the hip hop music industry and whether or not they are doing things to genocidally defame the Black community and doing this in an epic way that's causing harm and deaths to lots of Black people all around this world. So get comfortable, buck up your seatbelt, hit the thumbs up button. We're going to get started on drboycetv.com right now.
Here we are, clan the isms, cataclysm, great. Our people out here struggling, trying to make it in this state. Everybody out here doing it, but we the ones too late. Now family, we the ones who gotta delegate. Get that money in the power, never be fake. Stick to cosign for 3. What did he say? Create jobs, support our own. Educate the same and buy back your home. Got 3 degrees, triple 10. 3 PhDs, now we on the CNN. DBTV, let's talk about negligence. Ignorance is bliss, but we can turn it to intelligence. Believe none of what you hear, half of what you see. Let's break it down here on Dr. Boyce TV. Here we are.
Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome to drboycetv.com, the home for intelligent Black people. My name is Dr. Boyce Watkins, and I want to welcome all the intelligent Black folks in here, and I want everybody to know who's in here that if you're not Black and trying to be intelligent, then you may want to get the hell out. And also, we believe in the B1 philosophy. B1 means we are Black first. That means that we put our community at the top of the priority list. We believe we can solve our own problems. We don't really want interference from other people in other communities. We want to figure this out on our own. That means shaping our own culture, our own economics, and everything else in between. The allblackagenda.com is a good place to find out more. And so if you agree with this philosophy, put a hashtag B and the number 1 in the chat. Hashtag B1 is our calling card. And today we're going to talk about Lil Nas X. And Lil Nas X is this rapper. He's interesting. He's an interesting guy out of Atlanta, and just, he likes to. I think he likes to push buttons, and he seems to try to do this in the name of LGBT rights and stuff like that. But I don't agree. I think that he's a guy that's probably desperate. Seeking for attention, just doing everything he can to remain as relevant as he can. And I think it's up to us to kind of speak up on that and give our opinion. And so I'm not going to give my own opinion, though. Lil Nas X did tweet at me today, and I will respond to the tweet. And I did do a written response as well, and I'll share that with you in a little bit. But I really didn't want to just hear my opinion. I felt that the world needed to hear everybody's opinion, your opinion, and also the opinion of my 2 guests. And so one of the guests that's on the screen right now is Jeff Lightsy Jr. from the Black Boss Channel. How you doing today, Jeff?
Pretty good, Doc. How you doing?
Good, doing great, man. Glad to have you. And also is the one and only Madam President. Madam President is over at Fly Nubian Queen and does her thing. And how you doing today, Madam President?
I'm excellent, Dr. Watkins. I'm excellent. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, I'm glad that you're here. And I think that Jeff and Madam President are good people to add substance to the conversation because we like to sort of elevate the discussion, and it's not going to be just two Black people fighting it out. I told y'all a long time ago, I'm not going to be out here beefing with no 23-year-olds, just like with Tyler, the Creator. Tyler, if you're watching, I know you're still mad over that little shit that happened 5 years ago, but I'm not going to beef with nobody who's the same age as my kids. My job is to be the OG and to give you a point of view to consider. But Jeff, Jeff is in his 20s, so he can give the perspective of a 20-something. Madam President is a woman. She also, if she doesn't mind me mentioning, she's part of the LGBT community. Is it okay if I say that? I guess I shouldn't say it publicly.
Is it okay if I say that? I said it though, and I'm on air, but is it okay?
I know that was such a terrible thing for me to do. What is wrong with me? Oh my God. Well, I want to do that just because when I see what Lil Nas X, first of all, let me ask everybody in the chat, give me a yes or no if you saw any bit or heard anything about Lil Nas X, his latest video, whatever it was, the Jack Harlow from my home city of Louisville is actually in the video, where he's got these guys, black men, a bunch of black men lined up butt naked, twerking in prison and everything. and it was just kind of crazy, kind of traumatic to watch. I couldn't watch too much of it. I just saw the little clips of it, and I had an issue with it. And he had an issue, I guess, with the fact that I had an issue because he said something back to me on Twitter, and of course, all the white people were cheering like, that's what they do. That's it. They love to see black people hate each other, so that's what they did. They cheered, which is expected. And I said, we need to have a thorough conversation on this. I do not want it to just be me and him yelling back and forth at each other. I really have a lot of empathy in terms of trying to understand where he might be coming from with this. Because I can tell it's obviously a sensitive issue for him. So I wanted to try to have a thorough conversation. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start actually with ladies first, Madam President. So tell me about that video. And first of all, everybody in the chat, let me know what you thought about the video. Feel free to put your comments in there. Madam President, what did you think, when you saw the video come out?
Well, Dr. Watkins, like many people, I was just a little bit in shock. But here's what I consider to be a little problematic. Anytime that you have a bunch of gay, anytime that you, not gay, but anytime you have a bunch of black men dancing in prison as if prison is fun, I have a problem with that because there is nothing fun about prison. I don't know a person that hasn't seen their family in 15 years that has been so delighted and so much joy and so much glee and shining goddamn Grammys. There is nothing happy about prison, not to mention the issue that we have as black people with the prison system. Black men literally get the higher sentence. Black women get higher sentences than anybody in this country for the exact same crime. So how can we go on national television and act like prison is cool? It's never cool. Our brothers and sisters will die in prison. And it's okay as long as our young, black, vibrant, gay, and liberated man can say, hey, this is fun. There is nothing fun about prison. That's just fact number one. Number two. Oh, I'm sorry.
No, please go. Actually, before you get to fact number two, I'm gonna ask everybody in the chat just so we can be on the same page. Give me a yes or no. Do y'all think prison is fun? Like, if y'all were in prison, would y'all be twerking naked in the shower? I think I could have swore I saw something when they were spreading their butt cheeks out or something. I couldn't look too close because it's like looking directly at the sun and kind of. But tell me, give me a yes or no. Do you think that the brothers that are in prison are dancing and twerking in the shower and being happy? I think that's an important point to stick on that you made, Madam President, because that's no different from having a bunch of naked slaves dancing on the plantation. That's the exact same thing. And if we were to have a video, pay attention now, listen, everybody. If you had a video with a bunch of naked slaves dancing and singing on the plantation, people will be livid. They don't understand prison is the new plantation. So go ahead, please continue with your second point, Madam President.
Dr. Watkins, you're making a very excellent point. And here's what's so interesting to me, that, a lot of times in our community, it's like group think is just so common that we always have to think like one another, but we don't have any form of true unity when it comes to doing things as a collective, right? People are getting upset with you because they're thinking that you're criticizing him for being gay. And I don't believe that the criticism is about being gay. The criticism is about this over-sexualized image that they use for women and now a young black gay man. Now, here's the thing that I find most interesting, and if they could not make any money from Lil Nas X being gay, I guarantee you that wouldn't even be a part of the conversation. It's something about this movement. These movements start to happen. Let me tell you something really quickly, just really fast, because I know that I can get off point. But what I want to say is, when we got the black family on television, Family Matters, there was a white executive that made that decision. A white person said, it's time for a black family to be on television. And when that happened, that's when they got the phone call to create Family Matters. And I just want to say that because white people they're constantly pressing the trajectory of black life. And this is what they consider to be Black liberation for a young Black gay man to be nude, which I consider to be problematic because nudity and like swinging your butt around has nothing to do with you being gay. That's flamboyant. That's just being nude. That's just being naked. And that's just being, you know, whatever that you're deciding to be, because I want to make sure that I'm being respectful. You know, I want to make sure that I'm being respectful, that I don't want to be belittling or, you know, because I don't agree with this particular behavior. You know, I also want to make it clear, I am not the spokesperson for gay Black people, you know. However, I'm going to make it very clear. I don't want nobody giving me, when I talk about gay rights, when I talk about rights as a Black woman, I'm talking about the empowerment, the economic empowerment. I'm not talking about shaking ass. Okay, I'm talking about the well-being of my life for an entire life. I'm talking about quality education, quality school system, quality neighborhoods, me being safe in everywhere that I go, me being properly compensated on any job that I take. I am not talking about the right to shake ass.
All right. So the right to shake ass, not on the agenda. Well, I like that. Well, everybody who just got here, I want you to know I'm speaking with Jeff Lightsy Jr. and Madam President, and we're talking about Lil Nas X. And Lil Nas X, apparently, I did not know. Somebody informed me today that apparently one of the tweets I had issued, he'd responded to it, and I guess it was interesting enough that the Shade Room picked it up. And I didn't. I found this out maybe 2 or 3 hours ago, and I said, you know, let's talk about this because I think the community needs to be heard, and also I want to make it clear that I think Nas deserves to be heard because I obviously when people respond, it's almost like when Lizzo got upset because she thought I was picking on her when I said there's something wrong with an industry of that's run by white people, making money by getting a Black woman to promote obesity as if it's a good thing. I wasn't, you know, and what they always do, here's what they always do, and Tariq Nasheed hit it on it real well. They always use some other agenda as cover for the debauchery. So obviously they come back and they make the thing with Lizzo to be, oh, you hate Black women. You don't support Black women. And everybody knows, I mean, believe me, I got a lot of messages in my inbox from brothers that think I'm simping because I love the hell out of my Black wife and because I think Black women are the best in the world. I will stand by Black women all day, but just because I love the hell out of Black women don't mean I'm going to stand by when you're doing some shit that I wouldn't want my daughters growing up and doing. I don't want my daughter to grow up and go shaking her ass for money and doing all these other things because y'all know what that leads to. You know, who in here wants your daughter on the pole trying to make $1? I teach my daughters to be empowered. I teach them to be intelligent. I teach them to be strong and everything else. I don't teach them to go and promote death as if it's a good thing. Obesity kills more Black people than that virus ever could. But you run around here crying about the virus, but you ain't got nothing to say when somebody's promoting death right in your face and they're getting paid by a white man to do it. Same thing is true with some of these other artists, you know, out here. You can go down the list, and it ain't just the women. It's not just gay. It's everything. I mean, we talk about some of these guys and some of the stuff they're doing, promoting drug abuse amongst black youth, telling an 18-year-old kid that your goal in life is to go out and get hooked on codeine and Molly and Percocets and all that without them even knowing how that destroys your brain cells, without even acknowledging how that destroys the community. How many of y'all right now, I'm gonna give it to you, Jeff, now after I say this, because I'm not gonna soapbox too long, but how many of you right now in this room, raise your hand, say something in the chat. How many of you have had a loved one get hooked on drugs and had to deal with the devastation of a loved one either getting hooked on drugs, going to prison for drugs, or getting murdered over some damn drugs? How many of y'all in the Black community? I bet you it's going to be 1,000 yeses in the chat. You raising both hands. I'm raising both hands. I'm sure, Madam President, I'm sure you got stories to tell. We all got drug stores. So why in the flying fuck would you allow these people to go and push this stuff in your community and then act like it's okay just because some white man put that guy on TV? You being put on TV and having a couple dollars in your pocket does not make you an advocate or a bonus for the Black community. You are a liability. So anyway, I'm gonna be quiet, man. Just know most of the time when they give you the poison don't taste like poison. Most of the time when they give you the poison, it tastes like Kool-Aid. And we got a whole lot of people in our community that are drinking the Kool-Aid by the gallon, and they think it's grape juice. So Jeff, give me your thoughts on this video. What went through your head?
So with Lil Nas X, it's funny because we all know his breakout, like what brought him to the light was the Old Town Road, right? It was honestly, it was the push from the children. And so ever since then, he's always been considered a children's rapper because his first, I think Old Town Road is a diamond hit. So it's went over 10 times platinum. So he will forever be linked to children because those are the people that propelled him to the spotlight that he's in now. And so now that he has come out, he's a gay man and he wants to be taken more serious and dive into more of his sexuality. That's where the two paths collide and they have this train wreck. And so ever since Old Town Road has kind of finally died off, he has made it overemphasized that he is not a children's rapper, right? Whether that's making a devil shoe that had real blood and getting sued by Nike, whether that's his last music video, I think it's his last music video, his last one I saw with him twerking on the devil, and now this one where he is in a prison with naked black men doing dances, they're fully nude and all this kind of stuff. It's quite incredible because like Madam President said, they're making it seem like we're attacking the fact that he's gay, and no, nobody cares that you're gay or doing whatever. But a lot of people run into the fact that they still see him as a children's rapper because he will never be able to overcome that. And it's almost like, when those Disney stars get big when they're children and then they like go on this sabbatical and go crazy because like now they want to be seen as adults and they start getting in trouble and being arrested. And it's almost like he's going through that phase. I believe at some point, Lil Nas X is going to realize he is a tool being used in propaganda, and as a tool, it's being used to spread a certain type of messaging or lifestyle. To act like this isn't anything, because when have you ever? Now, I'll ask you, Doc, and I'll ask you, Madam President, have you ever seen? Because there's plenty of gay white men, right? There's plenty of gay white men who are in the music industry, but when have you ever seen a white man do something like this, right? Like a video with all other white dudes and they're twerking and doing all this stuff and fully nude and acting all crazy. Like I've never seen it. Now, if somebody in the audience can point it out and show me in where it's being promoted. Not only is it happening, but it's being promoted, right? There's a lot of industry money being funneled towards this music, towards this type of videos and towards all of this stuff. To act like that's not orchestrated or planned, you're just being blind, and it all goes back to you mentioned Tariq Nasheed earlier, but it all goes back to like that buck breaking agenda, right? Like it's almost like you spoken about it on several occasions, talk about how they promote a lot of black men who are destroying our community, whether it's through promotion of drugs in our community, or promotion of being, either a little boy or a drug addict or a prisoner, right? Like, there's only certain images of black men that you see in the media. And this just goes into the demasculization of our people. And it's kind of, honestly, it's getting pretty ridiculous how overtly it's being pushed. It seemed like it used to be kind of subtle, but now we're talking fully nude in a prison, dancing like this is all good and fun and dandy. It's pretty insane.
Well, everybody, I want you to know what we're talking about. I'm speaking with Madam President and Jeff Lightsy Jr. About Lil Nas X, and we're talking about whether or not Lil Nas X went too far with his last video, or whether or not the industry is going too far. And everybody, I want you to know that they have their voice and they use their voice to push their agenda. And I'm gonna be honest with you, everybody's got an agenda. And on this page, we make no apologies for the fact that our agenda is a black agenda. It's a B1 agenda. And so if you agree with the B1 agenda, that our community, we need to solve our own problems. We hope you will hit the thumbs up button, hit the share button, hit the subscribe button if you have not done that yet. And also follow the channel, because we need black media for situations like this. This is why we need black media. Now, what I want to share with you all real quick is I want to share the tweet that I put up that Lil Nas responded to, and then I'm gonna find his response and I'm gonna actually share his response. So the tweet that it's on my Twitter. My Twitter is Dr Boyce Watkins 1. If you want to join the conversation, here is the tweet. Let's see here. Here we go. Let me see if I can find it. My point was very basic. It said that Lil Nas X is not fighting for gay rights. Gay rights, I believe, is used as a cover for something that I know a lot of gay people who don't agree with any of this stuff. They actually feel like it undermines gay rights. Lil Nas X isn't fighting for gay rights. He's marketing the sexual irresponsibility that's causing young men to die from AIDS. Being gay is one thing, but being a super spreader is another. There's nothing healthy or helpful about that video, especially for children. So so just to give a quick explanation for where that thought came from, it came from the fact that one, I have a cousin that I love very much and who happened to be gay, and he died of AIDS. And I remember how hard things were for him in Kentucky. I remember how, so the people around him did kind of what we do, unfortunately, to a lot of our young gay men and women. They beat him upside the head with a Bible and kind of kicked him out of the family. And I believe that's a big thing. I believe if you go all through cities like Atlanta, you will find thousands, maybe over 1 million young boys and girls as well in that same category, where their families didn't take the time to understand that you need to love your child no matter what. And so he went out to Philadelphia and he ended up dying of AIDS. And a lot of people are in that same predicament. There's a lot of HIV floating around the community. I mean, everybody will talk all day about that other virus and the Delta variant, but nobody's talking about that particular virus that we're talking about. Where's it coming from? Well, it's coming from the mass promotion of sexual irresponsibility, the mass promotion of unprotected sex, the mass promotion of this false idea that that if you believe in gay rights, you're supposed to believe in a complete lack of discipline sexually for any reason whatsoever. That if you want to put your penis in somebody unprotected, you just do it and you worry about the consequences later. That's the message you're giving young people, and it's especially challenging to me to see. It's a problem. It should be a problem to you too. That Lil Nas appeals to children. That's not a coincidence, people. Lizzo, the first person that responded to his tweet about his new video was Lizzo, who also was on TikTok on her knees, TikTok, an app for children, on her knees pretending to suck a man's penis. And when a guy like me speaks up and says, hold on, wait, I got daughters, man. Chill out with that. He's like, oh, well, you hate black women. You hate gay people. Put that shit in your pocket right now, because you can't keep using that BS defense to defend any kind of debaucherous minstrel show that you decide to put black people in. Again, there is no white version of Lizzo. There is no white version of Cardi B. There is no white version of Lil Nas X. There is no white version of rappers like Future mass promoting drug addiction to black people. So when they talk about the deliberate effort to use hip hop as a weapon of mass destruction and genocidal extermination of black people, your evidence is right in your face. It is all over the place, and you got to say something about it. So I'm going to stop talking because I'm going to keep going. I'm not going to stop if I keep going. Madam President, what do you have to say on this?
You're on mute.
You got to mute that. There, hit that mute button.
Okay, how about now? Can you hear me?
Yes.
Well, first of all, Dr. Watkins, there aren't many times that I have any sense of uncertainty about what you say, because what you say usually I'm with you 110%. Even sometimes I think we're on a different spectrum. But the one thing that I think that has always been a fight for many years now is the perception and the idea that gay equals AIDS or gay equals HIV. But I do believe that sexual irresponsibility comes in all forms, not from just being gay, but it's in fact, it was the heterosexual black woman, the woman who is sleeping with men, who is also sleeping with men and other women. This lack of discipline in our community have led to a lot of sexual terminal illnesses in our community. But the thing that I also want to say is, if a person can use you for sex, then they can also use you for protection. So if the mainstream hip hop is pushing sex on children, then they should also be pushing safety on children. And this is where I believe in our community, this is a teachable moment, to be very honest, because we all know we all got here because our mama and daddy had some sex. But for some reason, when it's time to discuss sex in our community, everybody is quiet. It's like this thing is not going to happen. And I wish that we could be mature and understand sex so that we can start talking to our 14-year-old children about how they feel and how to control how they feel and learn how they feel and give themselves time to feel differently. A lot of times you find people give themselves to people sexually. Oh, you know, you're 15 years old and you say, I like him, I like her. And it's like, well, baby, you're 15. Guess what? You're going to like somebody else. Give it 2 months. And then you got to sleep with everybody you like. Oh, my God. So there's a lot of discipline that is required and needed in our community as we discuss sex. We have a lot of shit. One of the things, too, I have a complete understanding of white supremacy. And one of the things that we keep on doing is using their philosophy for our own communities. And that's why we keep failing, because we literally have never taken the time to construct our own system. I mean, when the Black Panthers tried, you know what happened. They killed all of those people. You know, when we tried to take control over our communities. But I do believe, Dr. Watkins, that the misconception of, you know, gay equaling AIDS and things of that nature comes from lack of sexual discipline. But it's no longer attached to being gay. I think that was the fight in the 80s and the 90s. And that sexual discipline is very serious. And it needs to be talked about, because guess what? When I go to work every day, when I run my business as a business owner, when I go and I get a loan for a home, guess what's the one question they didn't ask me? Are you gay? Nobody asked me that. So it's question that we have to get real serious about in reference to how much does it matter? You know, how much does it matter, Lil Nas X? You know, but we need him no matter, you know, we need him to be intellectually inclined, intelligent, no matter what platform he's on. You know, we can't have him being ignorant, no matter the sexual orientation. That's the problem in our community.
Well, I do agree with that. I agree with that 100%. And I you know, I will say that first of all, I just really, if somebody wants my official position on gay rights or whatever, I've never gave a shit what somebody does in the bedroom. I don't care. As long as you ain't having sex with a kid or whatever, then it's none of my business. And I think that the idea of kind of pushing things onto children is what ends up offending so many people. Is, you know, when you're telling a 7-year-old to, you know, to get their gender switched and transition and all, you know, like a lot of people feel like, look, that's my child. Let them have that. Let us have that conversation with them when they're at an appropriate age. The state should not be the one sponsoring this idea. Now, let me just kind of tell you where that came from in terms of my statement about HIV and young Black men in Atlanta. Let me just give you a stat just to kind of put it in perspective here. This is according to the CDC. When they look at new HIV diagnosis among Black African-American people in the U.S., they said that male-to-male sexual contact is 79% of the new cases. Heterosexual is 15%, drug use 4%, male-to-male sexual contact and drug use 2%. For women, 92% of the new HIV cases are from heterosexual contact. And as you mentioned, Madam President, it's in many cases it's a man who maybe is, you know, doing some things maybe the woman doesn't know about. 8% is drug use, and then they have an other category. So my point here was to say, you know, that I don't really know how I can step in and explain that that I have such a heart for the young men that Nas X grew up with. You know, I know Nas X grew up in Georgia, and his parents got divorced when he was 6. His daddy was a pastor. He grew up right there in Atlanta, right in the heart of all that. That's probably how he got into the music industry, because they have a lot of talented artists in Atlanta. When you go to Atlanta, you see a cultural difference there that you don't see really anywhere else. And I have seen, and again, this is just my experience. I can't speak for nobody else, but I have seen a lot of young men who I believe were booted out of their families because of their sexual orientation, which right there, that's wrong. You know, you don't kick your kids out over something like that. I can't stand it when parents act that way. And they get into this street space where many of them are victimized by older men. Their first experience a lot of times is with an older guy. And then you kind of get into the space where it's like anything goes. And maybe it's part of what I consider to be the suicide trend among many young black men, whether you're gay or heterosexual. The suicide trend is that you have a lot of young black men, because they've been marginalized either by family or by the world, they engage in slow suicide. So it could be either drinking yourself to death, using drugs, engaging in irresponsible behavior, thugging it out to the point where you might get shot up by a cop or shot up by another dude, or that culture I see in Atlanta, where from what I have seen, there's a lot of unprotected stuff going on, and it's not really talked about. So again, but that's my experience, right? That's what I've seen. That's what I've learned just from talking to people on the ground and looking at the data. But again, I'm sure somebody might disagree, and it's their right to disagree, but that's what I've seen. Jeff, what are your thoughts? We haven't heard from you for a minute. Go ahead.
Yeah. So with the whole like Lil Nas X and Madam President touched on it a little bit. She was talking about how he's constantly promoting the fact that he's gay, right? But I think that comes from the fact that it's stuck. Right. So once again, he came up making the Old Town Road. He was someone that the kids kind of really propelled to the spotlight because it went viral from a video game. And then everywhere you went, I remember I was covering different like sporting events, and anytime they played Old Town Road, the kids would go crazy. And so to get out of that, he comes out like, during his promotional tour, he comes out as gay or whatever. And then he starts, obviously you get propelled in the media when you do things like that. Then you make one song and it's a hit, talking about being gay or whatever. Then you make another song and it's a hit, and you where you were talking about being gay or whatever. And so now you just continue to push the envelope and push the edge, and that is why I think he continues to go that route. It's also ironic the fact that this video takes place in a prison, and they're doing all these different things in a prison. And I want to say, you can look this up and fact check me, anybody in the audience, and Doc, you can do it on your computer, that I think he's using a portion of the money that is made from this song or from this video to like go towards prison reform. And to me, that's like almost like an oxymoron. It's like you're showing that you're having fun in prison, but you're also trying to prove that, you're helping free some of the guys. I mean, I don't know. That's kind of like conflicting interest. So it is really tough when you look at some of these things and you really dive into it and you want to know, like, okay, why is it that they're propelling you and your message towards the front, right? Like, why is it that, like, are you actually listening or watching the visuals and wonder why, like, our people are where we are? Like, a lot of people are like, why are we in this position? Or why are we acting like this? Like, well, when you listen to some of the music and you look at some of the visuals, it tells the story itself. It tells you why you're a hamster on a spinning wheel and doing the same thing over and over again, because you promote some of the things that only are to the detriment of your community.
I just want to say something. I'm sorry. I was just thinking, because the thing is too, you all are, so in hip hop, you have, so I wanted to say something. You don't have a lot of openly gay men in hip hop, right? Mm-hmm. So in hip hop, even if a man was gay, he couldn't really be open and say, hey, I'm gay and I'm a rapper. So
no, he can't.
There's this monumental thing that's happening, right? But it's so crazy because it's like, okay, if you go, now you're the spokesperson for being gay, which I don't think he signed up for, but it says, okay, now you're the spokesperson for being gay. Now everything is all gay for you. You got to keep on with the gay. And the crazy part is, as a person who has a very full life of doing almost everything in all different spectrums, it's kind of like, damn, that's the miniature part of my identity, being gay. That's the least part of my identity, is my sexuality, who I date, who I marry, especially when you're single. It's like, not to mention, I saw Lil Nas X kissing a girl recently. I personally think that, I think 15, 20 years from now, he may look back and say, wow, I was really wilding out, However, I also want to say that there's this white gay guy that took the world by storm a few years ago. His name was Sam Smith. And I want to say that Sam Smith he's gay, he's white, and he took home a lot of Grammys about listen to this, because this is powerful to me. He took home a lot of Grammys about his love songs. his love songs about his boyfriend. Now you hear that? In our community, it's always this over-exploited idea of like this savage lifestyle. But in their community, it's always love. I'm not gonna write you a love song. It's always love. They always talking about love. They always promoting love in the white community. And if you look at the infrastructure in which white people pretty much have in this society, in this country, it's a societal infrastructure of, you know, structure, okay, house, family, you know, stability, economic empowerment, systems. You know, they are committed to almost anything that's constantly empowering their nation, right? Now, when you think about our music, our shit is like, you know, I kill you. You
Gangster, yeah, hit him in the mouth. Yes, women, gold chain.
Oh, you know, she can go. You know, it's always that. When you hear them, they talking about love.
Yeah, and then when we talk about love, I told you get this guy's like, you sipping, man, you sipping. I'm like, wait, because I don't want to stab my woman in the eye, you think I'm a simp? What is wrong with you, man? Like, it's like a mental illness, and you're right. They feed tragedy and trauma into the black community. Like if the black man is ever guilty of toxic masculinity, it was taught to him by them. They taught us these things. They put these things in our music. They put these things in our culture, and then we act it out. And then they say, "See, look at what kind of savages they are. Look at the way their men treat their women. Look at what they do." Now, I want to ask everybody. By the way, I want to tell you guys, I'm talking to Jeff Lightsy Jr. and Madam President, and we're talking about Lil Nas X and whether or not he went too far with his song. And also, as I mentioned, Lil Nas X tweeted at me, so I decided to formally respond in a way that led to a conversation where all of our voices could be heard on this, because I personally, as you know, if you go back 8-9 years, you know, I've always challenged the nonsense in hip hop. And it's not just a gay thing, not a woman thing. Every time I do it, I'm gonna tell you, I have somebody say, "Oh, you're only talking about Cardi B because she's a woman. Oh, you only talk about Lil Nas X because he's gay." Well, people don't know. Those who are ride or dies, who've been watching this channel for the whole decade we've been doing this, will know that our first big challenge was to actually Lil Wayne. Lil Wayne, back in 2013, Lil Wayne said some real disrespectful things about Emmett Till. And we just kind of challenged him on it, and he kind of blew us off or whatever. And then we went to Mountain Dew, and he and T.I. had a world tour that Mountain Dew was paying for. This is a true story. Y'all can go Google it. I'm sure it's out there. And basically, Mountain Dew was going to sponsor a world tour with T.I. and Lil Wayne, and they canceled the world tour. Now, here was the thing. I'm going to tell y'all the honest to God truth. I wanted to make my point to tell these artists, like, look, man, like, I know these white folks are paying you money. I know they're paying you good. You know that those butter biscuits are warm and delicious. I know that they treat you well, but you can't disrespect your people. You can't do that. And you know, but sometimes you got to step out and you have to be the hater. And that's what I be. Oh, you hate Lil Wayne. And it's like, oh man, that's not true. But whatever, right? And T.I., in fact, was one of my favorite artists. I think T.I. is incredibly talented, and I didn't even know T.I. was linked with Lil Wayne. But I wasn't going to walk away from my point. And in fact, to this day, Tyler, the Creator, is still mad. He's still, every time he does an interview, he did a song with Kanye. And then at the very end, out of the blue, Tyler goes, "Boyce Watkins is a bitch." Like out of the blue, like, why am I in this dude's lyrics? You know, but here's the thing. The reason I bring this up is because this is the fight that we're up against. We're up against the money. We're up against the power. We're up against the corporation. It's not the artists who are the target. The artists are just the puppets. I'm talking about the white man who's got his hand up their ass like a puppet, who's parakeeting and telling them what to say. And he's getting them to say and do things against your community that he would never allow to be done to his own people. Again, there is no white or Jewish version of a Lil Nas X running around, you know, misrepresenting the Jewish community, twerking in prison or twerking in a damn concentration camp. That's what that would look. Imagine if a Jewish artist, pay attention. Now, I want y'all to use y'all's imagination. Imagine if a Jewish artist did a video where he was in a concentration camp with twerking naked with a bunch of other men. Do you think that would get on the radio or on TV? What do you think? Do you think that they would say, "Oh, well, this is great for the Jewish community"? But what do you think? Give me a yes or no. Come on, answer my question, damn it. Because sometimes I got to help snap people out of their sleep. because that music will rock your dumb ass to sleep, and then you'll be sitting here and they're pouring poison down your throat while you're sleeping, and you don't even know what's going on. So if you can't answer that question, then you get exactly what I'm saying. If you would not do it to your own people, then don't do it to us. Period. Now let me go back to Madam President. Madam President, let me ask you about this, and then you can make a comment on anything that was said as well. So I'm gonna share a tweet. Actually, my wife, my beautiful black wife that I love so much, Dr. Alicia, sent me this tweet. See, guys call me simp every time I talk about my wife, so I decide I'm gonna simp as much as possible to let y'all know that if you're gonna simp over anything, you simp over a black woman, damn it. So anyway, so here's what he said. So somebody sent a tweet to Lil Nas X, and he said, and this fits your point, Jeff, about him appealing to children. They said, my 2-year-old loves your music. How can you not make it appropriate for everyone? And so Nas responded by saying, bless your 2-year-old's heart, but I need to be a slut sometimes, sir. So Lil Nas X says, I need to be a slut. Now here's the thing. We got sluts everywhere. You know, there's a lot of people. There's probably about 3,000 sluts in this in this room right now, right? By the time this video is done, 3,000 or more sluts will watch this video, and it's okay to be a slut. But I've always thought that you don't need to be a slut around children, right? Like if I'm a horny man and my penis is getting horny on a regular basis, I'm not gonna bring that around no kids, or I'm gonna be a predator. So why is it that he thinks it's okay to do this in front of children? Is that a problem? Well, Madam President, go ahead.
Well, I think from what I understood from the tweet, to be just honest, Dr. Watkins, he says that bless your 2-year-old's heart, however, I need to be a slut sometimes. I think he was saying that this isn't for the 2-year-old, this right here in particular is not for the 2-year-old. And I don't think anybody makes music for the 2-year-olds besides Sesame Street. And I'm sorry, whoever that mother was, that was a dumbass.
But let me ask you though, Madam President, tell me this though. Where's the filter to stop the 2-year-old from seeing, just anything on the internet? Is there anything in place that's going to keep, if he's on TikTok and he's got 10 million kids following him on TikTok, and is there a law saying he can't put that video on TikTok because of all the 2-year-olds or 10-year-olds or 13-year-olds that are going to see it? What do you think?
That's true. And I'm gonna be honest with you. I have a lot of friends, and I can say a lot. I'm not gonna be extreme. Sometimes you can use those words and you really, but I have a few friends that have been talking to me about the progression of their children. And these children are like 12 and 13 years old, and they are in a social media world, and it's becoming a little difficult to balance because you have these young people that are trying to determine, well, if I can be anything, I want to be, if I can decide if I could be a boy or girl, I'm going to decide I want to be a boy. If I can decide I could be if I can decide I want to be gay or straight, well, I think I'm going to be gay now. And I think what I told some of my friends from my perspective, because I don't have children, but what I shared with them was, don't let the system who won't let the system who won't allow your child to choose what school they can attend to decide how to run your house. You are the president of your household. You are the CEO of your household. You are always running your house. So like, no matter who, nobody should be running your house but you. Now, I do agree. There should be some level of censorship with what's happening on the internet. And it has to be serious. But Dr. Watkins, I think what happens is it's too big. It's too massive. But let me tell y'all what's so crazy. Cuba shut down their internet. Cuba was like, y'all ass ain't watching nothing. No more. Cuba shut it down. But let me tell you, this is what's so crazy. I was in Cuba a couple years ago. I'm walking through the streets of Cuba, and I was like, oh my God, I feel safer in Cuba than I do in the US.
Oh yeah.
People are not really tapped into the energy of the internet. This stuff is powerful. This stuff is just coming through the airwaves 24/7. And we won't raise our children the way that we should. We gotta work, so we're giving them tools of phones,
phones,
right?
Tablets.
When I was in 5th grade, I was listening to Lil Kim. My mama came in the house and was like, and my mother was she was a devout Christian, and she said, My mother came in the house, and you know what? When I think about this, my mama owed me a damn Lil Kim cassette tape. She came in and she took Little Kim's hardcore, cassette tape, and she was like, "I heard about Lil Kim in the beauty shop, and I bet not get to listen to her." And I'm like,
let me jump in and let me get Jeff's take on some of this. So okay, so Madam President is saying that you run your household, you decide what your kid's going to hear. And I've heard that argument, a lot about, artists basically saying like, look, we put it out there, but it's up to you to decide what your child's going to hear. And the hard part for me is that, I don't encourage my kids to listen to any of it, but they hear it. They go to school, their friends play it for them. They, courses all over the internet. Is it even reasonable to think that if that parents can stop their kids from hearing the stuff that they shouldn't hear and seeing the things they shouldn't see and being influenced by those ideas? What do you think, Jeff?
You can only control what you can control. Like you said, once your child leaves out of your sight, it's hard to to stop them from hearing what is on the radio or what their best friends play, or what if they go over a friend's house, what that parent allows their children to listen to. So therefore, your children's listen to it, or even a uncle, auntie, or cousin that allows them to do certain things. So there's only so that you can control it to a certain extent. But I think that goes back to like parenting, right? Like to your, parental guidelines and values of what you allow to happen. I think the danger with like censorship, as far as censoring the internet, is that you open a Pandora's box, right? Like if you say, hey, I think they should censor certain things or certain things of the internet, then they'd be like, oh, well, you're allowing us to censor this, so we're going to censor that. And that's like kind of the fight that's taking place now on like Capitol Hill with people like a lot of the conservatives and stuff like that are mad because their videos are being pulled, or even not just conservatives. I mean, we saw they removed the Nation of Islam from Twitter just recently, and Farrakhan's been banned for years from different social media platforms. So that's kind of like the dangers of censorship. I think with, Nas and that tweet, going back to that tweet, it goes back to, like I said, it's like if you built your platform, Doc, you built your platform on financial literacy and BNB1, right? And so just imagine if you've done this, you put in hard work, you've garnered, millions of views and hundreds of thousands of subscribers or whatever. And then you come out talking about, you just got a deal from Macy's, right? Or MasterCard or Visa, or you're going on, CNN, and you're about to start a show. Like, and it's like, you just totally flipped, right? Like, it's like, whoa, we didn't come to you for that. We came to you for B1 and to learn how to trade stock options or whatever. You know what I mean? We didn't come for you to see you become Don Lemon, right? So that is what's taking place with Lil Nas X, and it's a lot of the things that he is battling right now. And that's why that's why with him, there's people on just drastic dynamics of the, like people that are like, oh, all for like the LGBT and, liberation and expressing yourself. And then there's people like, dude, you were a kid's rapper, right? Like your hit was with Billy Ray Cyrus and some other little white boy kid. Like that is how you became hot. And now you trying to be this? Like, nah, I'm not trying to hear that from you. So that's like the battle that he's facing right now.
Yeah, well, everybody, the battle that we're fighting right now is we're talking about all the things that intelligent Black people are talking about. And so we're building Black media, and we can really use your help. I'm here with Jeff Lightsy Jr. From Ball Sports, and also Chanel Walker, a.k.a. Madam President from Fly Nubian Queen. And we're talking about Lil Nas X, and not just Lil Nas X's response to the tweet that I put out, but also just generally speaking, what's going on in the industry and what Black people need to look out for. And so, in response to this, we're not just talking about it, we're actually doing things. We're building Black-owned media. And so if you want to be a part of it, we actually have movies that we make. I know, Madam President, you worked with us on a lot of projects, and Tierra KJ Williams we just made a whole movie that took us 2 years to make. We want to build a Black-owned movie industry, and basically we put out films about once every 6 months. Our latest film is called Till Death Do Us Part, and it's basically a feature of Black families where the couple has been married for more than 30 years and really talking about the ups and downs. And we love the film so much, we broke it into 6 pieces, and we're going to show it over a 6-week period. We're on week 2. The couple for next week that's going to be shown, and you can watch this film for free. We do not want to charge money. We'd love for your financial support, but this won't cost you anything. And the next couple we're going to focus on is Tyrone and Jackie. And Tyrone and Jackie have been married 33 years, and they endured the loss of their son. And Tyrone and Jackie are going to join us after we watch their segment of the movie. We're going to bring in Tyrone and Jackie. Also going to bring in Tierra KJ Williams, the director of the film, and also my wife, Dr. Alicia Watkins, who is a relationship therapist, and talk about what it really takes to create strong families and to maintain connection through difficult experiences. So we're not just talking about the things we don't like. We're supporting the things that we do like, right? That's really important. You can't just be destructive. You must be constructive. So when you knock one thing down, you got to build something better. We're trying to build something better. So if you want to join us next Thursday, you can register for free at blackmovienight.net. That's blackmovienight.net. If you know anybody that can benefit from a positive, strong Black message about family and wealth and everything in between, share this link with them and bring them in on Thursday night. Bring your whole family, because we don't just entertain ourselves. We also like to learn. So with that being said, let me jump into another quick question, I guess, as our last segment of this discussion. So Lil Nas X, I'm gonna tell you the truth. You know what I heard. I'll start with you, Chanel, or Madam President, excuse me. When I saw Lil Nas X tweet back at me, I felt honestly the same way I felt when Lizzo tweeted at me. I believe, in Kentucky, we have an old saying that says that the hit dog always hollers. And I believe that the reason that each of them tweeted back at me, because who the hell am I? I'm just some professor guy. I'm not popular in Hollywood. I'm not an industry executive. I'm just a guy who has a perspective and that a few people listen to, and that's it. So why would you respond to me? And I believe that the reason each of them responded is because they feel some kind of they feel conflicted. I believe they feel a little bit of guilt for what they're doing. I think that the comment to Nas about people are dying from this stuff. Like you think it's entertainment, you think it's about the money, it's about the shine. But I think that he's thinking about that. He's processing that, because again, he grew up in Atlanta. You can't tell me he hasn't seen some trauma and tragedy in his life. I really believe that. So how do you think we can have this conversation? I'm not like everybody else. Everybody else want to jump all over and cuss him out and beat him up and say, you're satanic. And I mean that those devils choose. I wouldn't mess with that, but whatever. Like, I'm not really that extreme. I'm just more like, come on, like, can't we entertain ourselves and love our people at the same time? Can't we feed life to the community instead of death? How do you think we can have the conversation in a way that's civil, as opposed to one where we're just condemning him and not actually getting to the root of the issue? Because if we destroy Nas X, they're going to replace him with somebody else anyway. So how do we find a solution that's going to help everybody? What do you think, Madam President?
That's a good question, Dr. Watkins. And to be very honest, I'm not sure if I have a clear plan or solution to how to fix such a major issue. But I will say that a lot of people's choices are rooted in economics and fame. So if I had a daughter and she needed to be a stripper to make money, then I have not laid the proper foundation for her. Not even just from a moral standpoint, but an economic standpoint. People are doing crazy shit for money. So I think that if we can get our finances in order in our households and collectively, have wealth, get our 40 acres plus and the mule shit, I don't think that people will start to have to, as they say, sell their soul or whatever the case is. Also, I just want to make sure that we have space in our communities for people who are different than us. I think that I grew up in a environment, where sometimes in our community, when someone is different, we just don't make a lot of room for them. But what I'm finding out right now is we've made so much room for so much sloppy shit that the young Black girl who's a genius, who won a spelling bee, she kind of dwindled in the media as we talk about people who have no genius, who have absolutely no genius. We don't preserve in our community, and we need to do a better job at preserving great Black people who have. If you got somebody coming into your house and say, hey, I got $100,000, you got 4 kids, and you literally have to decide, well, which child, they say you can only give this $100,000 to one of your children. You damn sure can't give it to the one that's sleeping every day and doing nothing. We have to get serious and very selective about what we are doing. And I think that is take us further than trying to act like we can catch and pull everybody.
All right. Well, you know what? I don't want to ask you, Jeff. And Jeff, I'm gonna let you get the last word, then we can close out. But I want to show everybody, in case you want to see, what Lil Nas X said earlier. I forgot to show his response to my tweet, and then I'll show you my response to his response, and then that'll be my last statement to him. I'm gonna put it's up on my Instagram. My Instagram is the Real Boyce Watkins. If you want to follow and join the conversation, here is what Lil Nas X had to say. His voice should be heard. It's worth hearing his response. So he says, y'all. So this is what he responded to me when I mentioned that he's not fighting for gay rights. I basically said the video is not helpful to anybody, including children, and it's also connected to the same irresponsibility that's promoted that's causing people to die of AIDS. And he said, y'all be silent as hell when a blank N-word dedicate their entire music catalog to rapping about sleeping with multiple women. But when I do anything remotely sexual, I'm, quote, being irresponsible and, quote, causing more men to die from AIDS. Y'all hate gay people and don't hide it. And so what, my quick reply to that is, I assume Nas hasn't had time to check my record, but you'll know that that I've been challenging the rappers, male and female, and I was challenging the men, the straight men, before I even got around to the Cardi B's and Lizzo's and stuff like that. And it's really about just saying, what is it that they're doing to our people that they're not doing to their own? They don't promote this stuff to Asians. They don't promote it to Jews. They don't promote it to Latino people. They promote it to Black people specifically because you think anything that's entertaining is okay. And that's just not true. I'm challenging that. But let me show you. So I'll read my response. And Jeff, I'd like to get your take on this. So my response to his response was basically, I said, check my record, brother. I think that any and all rappers like Lil Nas X and Cardi B are poor and others are poisons to the Black community, especially to Black children. Basically, you're being paid by white corporations to encourage any and all behavior that leads to the death and suffering of Black people. I know quite a few people in the LGBT community who are sickened by the fact that their cause is being undermined by Ho Fest minstrel shows. A bunch of dudes spreading out their cheeks and twerking in prison has nothing to do with gay rights. It's an artist desperate for attention using gay rights as a cover to push our people further down the drain. Truth is that the racist corporations that pay you for this nonsense would never promote your ass if you were healthy. That's a fact. Now, I'm going to confess and say I was a little pissed off when I tweeted that. I didn't mean to make it so mean, but it's really how I feel. These white folks don't care about you, man. They don't love you. If you go down, like E40 used to say, they'll find a new nigga next year. He got a whole song that's the chorus. Like literally, once they're done with you, using you up, they're gonna find somebody else. And at the end of the day, Black people are losing. Hip hop used to empower Black people. Now it's being used to destroy Black people. The most effective marketing in the world is through music. It's more effective than a TV commercial. There are laws that say that there are certain things you are not legally allowed to promote on television. You can't promote cigarettes. You can't promote like those oxy drugs. I can't do a commercial from a corporation promoting crack or something crazy like that, but I can put it in a song all day. And songs are more effective when it comes to influencing children. Rappers are the greatest influencers in America. That's why corporations pay them billions of dollars to influence people. So if you tell me that it's just music and it's just entertainment, when they're rapping to you about killing other Black people, they're rapping to you about staying high and drunk all the time, they're rapping to you about disrespecting your women and doing terrible things to your women, they rap to you about giving all your money away, they rap to you about doing everything that's going to destroy your life, you can't tell me that doesn't have an impact because the evidence is all around you. Jeff, what say you?
Oh, this is very true. And if you don't believe it, just look at what takes place when people say things about other communities, right? Like just imagine when Nick Cannon said what he said about the Jews, what happened? He had an apology tour. What happened when like the Asian, the whole pushback on Asian hate crimes, and now they're going back on old songs where a rapper, whoever might have said something about doing something to somebody of Asian descent or an Asian, and they're blanking out the word, right? Like they're blanking out certain phrases. Don't believe me? There was a YG song talking about beating up an Asian or whatever, and they're blanking. They went out, and this song was released like 3 or 4 years ago. They're blanking that stuff out. So that's not by accident, but you can promote and do whatever to your people all you want if you don't believe that is true. I think also, I think Madam President brought it up earlier. Lil Nas X is on. He's one of one as of right now. He is, if not the only openly gay rapper. And so he is out there one of one. He's taking, to my sense, trying to take full advantage of being so. of being one of one. And so there's a ton, it looks like a ton of marketing money and a ton of just promotional money or whatever that is pushing him to do some of these crazy antics. And because you are allowed to say and do whatever towards Black people in music, then they're taking advantage of it. And so that why not promote the fact that he has, 6 Black dudes fully naked twerking in a jail cell, right? Like, why not? Because we're allowed to do that. Now, if you were of Jewish descent or Asian descent or whatever, no, we can't do that. But because you are who you are, a Black male rapper, we're gonna push that to the push the boundaries. And you happen to be gay, and so therefore, if you one of one, so you're one of the only people that are doing this. And if they ever criticize you, we can just say they're being homophobic. We can just say they're being, like, because it's an easy cop out. And so that to me is sad, and it seems to be going along just quite well as of right now, because he seemed to have a lot of supporters in his pushback to your response, Doc.
You're on mute, Dr. Watkins. We can't hear you.
Thank you. Yeah, white people love to push nonsense on us. We're the guinea pigs, and the reason it happens is because we allow that. We let anybody into our community, anybody into our culture. We've been getting infiltrated for the last 400 years, and ever since the slave days. That's why there was never a successful slave revolt in 200 something years, because every single time it was infiltrated. And so ultimately we've been infiltrated again by the music industry, and intelligent people see this. And I would encourage you, those who are listening, one way you can fight back is to be conscious about the media that you take in. We got to support our own media. We got to build our own. And actually, to help with this, to try to do my part, on Wednesday nights, we're actually reading Dr. Claude Anderson's books in the book club. And we're covering Black Labor, White Wealth, which breaks down everything you never learned in school about everything that's happened to Black people for the last 400 years. You should bring your family. We're literally dissecting the book piece by piece. And we're also going to do Powernomics, the Black History Reader, and Dirty Little Secrets. And the reason that you have to do this is because you've got to learn how to build your own. And Dr. Anderson is the greatest mind of the 20th century, as far as I'm concerned. And that's the person that can teach you these things. And so to help you with this, just go sign up at blackkeystogreatness.com. It's totally free. You also get free access to my live class, lifetime access. You don't have to pay a penny. Join us. We meet Wednesday nights at 8:30, and we're literally dissecting those books piece by piece, because I want to hopefully contribute by helping us to build another generation that's going to be smart enough to overcome all this. The only way to fight a white supremacist system is to build a better system. You fight systems with systems. You can't fight a system with, marching, praying, and being mad and screaming and hollering. You fight a system by being organized like a system. So let's build a better system, and let's not just sit around complaining about what they're doing to us. So blackkeystogreatness.com is where you can join us. So I want to say thank you very much to Jeff Lightsy Jr. and Madam President. I'm going to put their social media contacts on the screen. I hope everybody will follow them. Jeff Lightsy Jr. does all kinds of commentary, particularly sports. He's like the little Stephen A. Smith, except better than Stephen A. He's blacker than Stephen A. according to a lot of his followers. And his social media is JLightsy7. I'm gonna put him big on the screen, and everybody should follow him. Please follow the Black people that you respect and support, because we have to create our own celebrities, right? So Madam President is also a brilliant young woman. Here is her social media, one Madam President with a Z. Everybody should follow her. She does a lot of great commentary on a lot of issues that are Black. These are your warriors. These are your champions. You got your people out here. Now we're just asking you, please back them up, support them. If you support them, then they will build. They can grow off that. Okay. So everybody, thank you all very much. Please give a digital thank you to the panelists for joining us. Please hit the thumbs up, share, subscribe button on your way out. And also somebody's asking about Black Movie Night. Yes, that's next Thursday. We made a new movie called Till Death Do Us Part. You can watch it totally for free. And we're going to have an intelligent discussion after the film is over. So it's a great family gathering, like a nice little weekly family reunion we have. So that's going to be Thursday at 8:00. The book club is Wednesday at 8:30. So blackmovienight.net is where you can come watch the movie. So God bless everybody, and thank you all so much. And it was real. And to Lil Nas X, bro, I'm sorry if I hurt your feelings, but you got to stop that, man. Stop letting those people use you. You're a talented artist. I want to see you do something that I can show my children without having them walk away feeling like they got molested by somebody, because that's some old bullshit, man. You got to stop that stuff. So take care, everybody. Have a good night. We'll see you guys soon. Take care. Peace.